Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the presentation of A Million Little Pieces. To begin, we would like to acknowledge that tonight's event is taking place on the treaty territory of the Mississaugas of New Credit and the traditional territory of the Haudenosaunee, the Anishinaabe, and the Huron-Wendat. We are grateful to have the opportunity to work in this community. A Million Little Pieces is eligible for the Grolsch People's Choice Award. Vote for your favorite films at tiff.net/vote. We would like to thank Entertainment One, Creative Artists Agency, and Sierra Affinity for providing us with this film. Sam Taylor Johnson was born in London and studied at Goldsmiths, University of London. Her directorial credits include the short film Love You More and the features Nowhere Boy and 50 Shades of Grey. A Million Little Pieces is her latest feature. Please help me in welcoming to the stage Sam Taylor Johnson.
Oh man. I said to Aaron, this feels like Christmas Day. We've been like counting down to this moment, and now it's here. Forgive me from reading from this, but I am so nervous. In my head, I was always going to make this movie from the moment I read it 15 years ago. I was an artist then. I wasn't a filmmaker, but I just kind of, I felt it in my bones, and it was just a matter of time. So I guess I played the long game, which you sometimes have to do when you're a woman anyway. Aaron and I wrote the screenplay together. It took us just about a year on spec, and we put all our other work to one side, and this became a project of pure passion, and we shot it in 20 days. It was breakneck speed, but the community in which we worked on set just hunkered down, and we just made it happen, and it was quite a unique experience, and I'm proud of what we achieved. I'm excited to share our movie with you, and thank you so much, TIFF, and for welcoming us, and thank you, E1, for financing us, and then I'd like to just bring on stage our producers, Pam Abdi and Brad Weston of Make Ready, who they thoroughly supported this vision. They really made it happen. Also, a breakout talent you'll be seeing a lot of, the incredible actor who plays Lily, Odessa Young. Woo! And lastly, I'd like to welcome on stage my collaborator, my co-conspirator, the lead actor, and my husband, Aaron Taylor Johnson. Listen, please enjoy it, and stay for the Q&A. I got things to say. and enjoy it, and thank you so much all of you for being here. Woo!
Thank you so much, and please help me in welcoming back to the stage the director of A Million Little Pieces, Sam Taylor Johnson.
Thank you so much for staying behind as well. I want to bring on stage a man that I've grown incredibly fond of. I've really taken him to heart, and I love this man, and he's trusted us with his story, and he's been sober now for 25 years, and I think he should come on here and be proud and unashamed. James Frey.
So we have Aaron Taylor Johnson here with us as well. And soon, did you want to bring Odessa out now?
Yeah, please. If
Odessa Young? She'll be coming soon. Okay, well, we can start because the first question I have.
Wait, let's wait for her.
Okay.
She's coming. She's coming. Woohoo!
So congratulations to you all on this incredible film, and thank you very much for having your world premiere with us here in Toronto.
Thank you.
So to begin, I mean, there are many stories about, experiencing and overcoming addiction. So what was it about James Frey's story that really stuck with you all of these years?
I read it when I'm going to take my glass off. I don't need to. I read it when the book first came out, and I remember reading it and just seeing it so visually powerfully. And what I felt remarkable about the book was every time I felt like I was reading and descending into a darkness, James would bring us back into the light. And that was a recurring theme through the book, the darkness and into the light. And that for me was really important, that this movie, if we were to make it, that it was hopeful. That it offered a lot of hope, and it was redemptive.
Absolutely. And well, that's it. In his style, he's very descriptive about the feelings, like physically, mentally, and emotionally. So how did that transform into the script that you and Aaron wrote? And then how much did that just come through for performance?
Yeah, you can answer that one.
I think, when you read A Million Little Pieces, it's such a visceral read, and James's way with words is, he has that innate ability. He has a rhythm to it, and he has that ability to make it very visual. And I think, transform that into cinema. That was, we had to make it a visual medium, and something that we do best when we collaborate is sort of turn that kind of expression into a kind of a physical thing. So and kind of have that dance element to it. Again, it was tackling the sort of dark into light kind of thing, and having that kind of surrealism to play with.
Absolutely, and it is such a physical performance. From your dancing, and then that dentist chair scene.
Had to be in there.
Yeah, absolutely.
And humor, by the way. I mean, like the book is like it's ups and downs, and in fact, it's like you're laughing one second, you're crying the next, and it's just he plays with those tones, dark and light, and that was something that Sam said from day one. She wanted to be able to do that in that dance of just you're laughing, and then you don't know if that was a guttural punch or not.
Mm-hmm. And well, that's the whole complexity of dealing with addiction and the relationships that it affects. And I mean, the relationship between James and Lily, it's it's so forbidden and textbook unhealthy for your recovery. But there is still hope in each other. So how did you navigate these characters and your performances with addiction?
All of those heads just turned to me. I don't know. I think it was, there was something that was really apparent to me in reading the book and also talking to James, which I got the good luck to do. And the thing that was apparent was that these two people who found themselves with nothing suddenly had something worth fighting for. And I think that's it in its simplest form. When you discover something bigger than yourself, that you can set aside your selfishness or your kind of teenage self-centeredness or something like that. And I think that's a powerful thing. It is dangerous, and it can be handled incorrectly, especially in terms of addiction, but it's still a hope.
Absolutely. And then we have to talk about this incredible 90s soundtrack that you have with R.E.M. and Smashing Pumpkins. So, I mean, how much did the music factor into creating another layer to this story?
Music's always so important to me, and as important, as picture. Mm-hmm. And we got lucky because we had a very small budget. And like I said, we shot it in 20 days. We wrote the script on spec. The whole thing's been a pretty wild and mad journey. And as we went through it, we approached people like the Smashing Pumpkins and said, we'd cut it in, and then I couldn't imagine anything else there, and we sent it to them, and they said yes, and they did it at a very, that low budget, no budget rate, and it was good because once they said yes, it set a standard for everyone else, and we were lucky. Everyone was really, really generous, but it was the landscape of that era was important, but it wasn't. I didn't want to overwhelm it with that either, and we got so lucky with Atticus Ross writing the score for us, and a lot of people have worked with us on this film and come on this film because they know someone or they've been touched by addiction, either in their own lives with themselves or families or friends. So we found that there was a lot of support for this film, and I think that's how we got this made at such a sort of breakneck speed.
Absolutely. Okay, so I'm going to open up the questioning to the audience now. Oh, okay. I'm sorry, is there a question?
It was just some of the rules that they had in place. I mean, it's something that's also in the book, but actually, when we actually went to the facility and been to many treatment centers, and there's sort of there are certain structures and rules, and that was specific to this one. I'm sure that there's different ways of doing it, but I think they wanted to. There's a whole other sort of thing of cross addiction and also trying to help one another. When an addict can almost focus more on someone else, they sort of worry about those sort of that it's not going to those relationships, the sort of unhealthy relationships sort of happening. But that was just one of the things. I mean, this was set in '93, and I think they still probably do certain systems like that, especially this treatment center that we went to. Still had that in place, but it's just one of the sort of rules of the place, which I think he says right at the beginning. There are a few rules here you must know, and that was one of them.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Another question from the audience? Oh, way at the back there, that's waving.
Maybe doing that, because that's almost like it's a nice recap and a closure for Leonard.
Yeah.
And what happened and why he wanted to call him his son.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, to start with your second question, I love my friend Leonard as much as I love Gone. Yeah. Sorry, were you going to?
Sorry, I'm just going to repeat the question for everyone in the house. Okay. So the first question is, how involved was James Frey in the process?
Mm-hmm.
Did you bring him the script, or at what point did he get involved?
Okay, I'll start with that one.
Yeah.
Okay. So just to backtrack slightly, when I first, like I said at the beginning, when I first read the book, I did have this sort of innate feeling that I wanted to make this movie, and so when I heard that the rights, after however many years, 10, 15 years, I think, had reverted back to him, I got in touch with him, and he said. I said, I want to make your book into a movie. And he said, so you want the rights to my book? And I said, yes, I do. And he said, sure. And I said, just like that. And he said, I want you to go and make art. I want you to just creatively be free, and I want you to make your interpretation of my book any which way you see it. And I'm not going to read drafts unless you want me to, and I'm not going to come to set unless you want me to. And if you have any questions or you need any help, I'm here unless you don't want me to. And he said, I may see the film, I may not. and really that was the creative freedom, which, my God, is a blessing, and I thank him every day for it. And my friend Leonard, I love that book equally, and I've read it I read it again when it came out because I was sort of hungry for the next book, and then I read it again. Was it 2 years ago? And I was reading it, and we were staying somewhere, and Aaron had gone out, and I think he came back and found me in a sort of fetal position, sobbing. That book, has a profound effect on a lot of people, and yeah, maybe. Because we have a great Leonard.
Yeah, we must talk about Billy Bob.
Yeah, I mean, it's sad he couldn't be here tonight, but he had family commitments. He's just come off the road with his band.
Oh, okay. Nice. How did you get him so tanned and in those jumpsuits and dancing so?
Oh my God, the costumes with him. He'd just come out the trailer and go, right? And I'd say, right, yeah.
Fantastic. Okay, next question, please. Oh, okay, right there in the back.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, so the question is, this is a massive labor of love for you guys, and if other people kind of similarly experience those sacrifices to join on board.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think that's in our universe and our world of filmmaking, and the people you get to know, and there's always support and love, and when it's making movies, for me personally, is an experience, and when it's around people you like, it's a great experience, and it's worth it. Charlie, I think, is a great writer. Giovanni's also a writer. Juliette Lewis was going off to direct something also, and we shot it in 20 days. We asked those kind of actors to come on for maybe 2 days at a time. That they only probably did about 2 or 3 days, and we'd work around their schedule because we'd be blessed that they'd come down. But you never want someone to come down and be like that they're owing you something, like a favor in some respect, because you do want them to come on board with their own interpretation and what they want to bring to it. And luckily for us, we handed out the script, and they turned around with ideas and love for it, and said, actually, I really want to give this a roll, give this a try, so.
Okay, next question. Oh, yes, just over here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So the question is for Odessa. And if she did research for your role, and if you spent time at a facility. What's that?
Am I allowed to tell that story?
You can tell the story. There's a story.
Well, I'm just going to cut to the quick with Odessa. Odessa, God bless her. We hired her on a Friday to start shooting on a Monday. So she had
Saturday.
Sorry. And we'd never met, and we'd hired her. In fact, on a Saturday, we started shooting on a Monday, so she had Sunday to prepare.
So that was my research.
Incredible.
Pure shock. Yeah, I mean, it was brutal, but I was also really lucky enough to be supported by these people. So it was easy to put my trust in that and to go to the places that I needed to without thinking that I'd just be floundering in the deep end.
She nailed it.
I'm lucky enough to know a lot of, an amount of recovered addicts, and I think that I drew very greatly on their strengths for this movie. So that's the research. I didn't get to go to facilities or anything like that. I read the book very, very, very quickly one night, and then yeah, just talk to dear friends of mine who have been touched by this, and that was the greatest wealth of knowledge that anyone can ask for, is personal experience.
Absolutely. Okay, last question. Does it run at the top? No? Oh, right here.
Well, so obviously Odessa didn't have as much time to prepare, but I wanted to ask Erin to maybe speak more to the physical preparation, because it was so much of the movement and the physical part of your performance that really was so evocative and moving. So.
Yeah, so it's just about, Aaron's kind of preparation and the physicality and movement that he brought to the role. And
I think, like I said before, I think James is someone who internalizes a lot of things, and but he, I guess I think it was just a way of being able to convey that in a physical way. Sam's very visual. Is a visual artist, and I remember we were talking lengths about how we wanted to write the scenes and things like that, and like this walking into the treatment center. There was, I don't even know where it came from, or if it said something in the book about this sort of feeling darkness and light. I want to punch the lights out, and having this feeling of just feeling like shit, really. And I think Sam was like, wow, what if it, his walls are caving in, and there's sewage and shit, and you're just slipping in it, and you don't know, and you're scared shitless, and it's a feeling, and then sometimes you can't convey what that is, and you don't want to have exposition, and you don't want to say this or that, and I think sometimes the abstract sort of artistry can kind of pull over you, and I remember going, what? James doesn't dance, and he doesn't move like that, and I don't know how this is going to work, and she's like, just trust me, and I think, we can make it our own, like just put faith in the fact that we can make this our own, and we'd made a few, we did a music video for REM a long time ago, where I dancing down the street like a lunatic, and it was very, therapeutic and uplifting and wild and unashamed, and I think we wanted to bring that quality to something like this, and to go back to that corridor, it felt like eventually he got used to the fact, like, oh yeah, this is shit. I know shit. I've just been from shit. I know this. I feel safe in this. This is great. I'm gonna slide right in here, man. This is great. And that's what we did. And I think the crew and were kind of, we were all just like, I don't know how this is going to work, and we kind of rigged this thing, and it might not work, and it's a one-time only, because now we've, wrecked this whole location, and your clothes and everything, and we only have, 2 shots of it, because we've got to move on. And, and we had these great guys, and they rigged it all up, and it worked like magic, and we were all just like, wow, this is actually, this is really interesting. We're all having a wicked time, just like, free-forming and learning the bare basics of filmmaking again. We had next to nothing. You have these ideas and people throw a ton of money at you. We didn't have that. So we didn't have the visual effects, and we didn't have this and that. Like the place with the specs, like it was ashes coming around. It was like, there were like 2 guys around my feet with a fan chucking shit. And I was like, I think, it was like that, but it was the most, it was so feeding the soul. It was like the most refreshing thing to be making a movie like that again. And we had, Jeff Cronenworth, a phenomenal cinematographer, who we're so blessed to have, and David Bumber, an amazing production designer, and worked magic with nothing, and we came together as a community making this movie whilst, you know, whilst we were, you know, acting as a community and trying to have that spirit. So it just felt like love was bouncing around, and we wanted to, and that's what this movie was about. We're like, we're not going to just, you know, everyone be miserable and dark and see the darkness through it. There's got to be light at the end of the tunnel, and there has to be redemption. There has to be hope, and that was our world, you know.
Well, thank you very much for sharing this
Thank
story with
you
us.
everyone
And
for staying. 1, 2, thanks for watching. We're super
you.
proud of this movie and blessed to be here. So thank you all for coming.
And if you liked it, don't forget to vote for it for the People's Choice Award. So thank you very much. Good night.
Please do.